everybody, my name is Jacob Kehoe. I work here at the German American Heritage Museum, and today I'm going to be talking about my German ancestry. To begin with, one of the reasons why I took this job in the first place is because I have German ancestry, and it's always been fascinating to dive deep into that and understand where I came from and just how that has helped me both understand my past and help me understand where I can go from there with that German skills. So my ancestry related to Germans and just German-speaking countries. My whole mom's side of the family is from Germany. They migrated back in the 1850s, and they lived in Louisville, Kentucky from basically when they migrated over in the 1850s to present day. They've always lived in a subdivision of Louisville called Germantown. It's a little area of the town by the Louisville Zoo. And I want to focus really on a story of my grandfather, Herbert Anthony Kleinschmidt, and his story of how him being able to speak German helped him survive during World War II. So Herbert was born January 9th, 1920, and he was a normal, run-of-the-mill guy. He grew up to be a carpenter, as most people were back in that day, especially in the Louisville area. He actually surprisingly got drafted into the Army just right before Pearl Harbor on November 28th, 1941. And when he got drafted, he was stationed in Indiana for a time. He went through basic and advanced training, and then he went overseas. They had him in the North African campaign. He was stationed in Tunisia and Algiers when the Allies were over there. And this story comes from that time period. So my grandfather, Herbert, was with two others one day on just a routine run-of-the-mill checkup, and they were out in the desert and they ran over a landmine. And this landmine pretty much blew up their whole truck. It killed one of the fellow soldiers. Another soldier had his leg cut off, but my grandfather was pretty much unscathed. He was very disorganized, didn't know where he was at all. So he picked up my fellow soldier, or his fellow soldier, and he just walked in a random direction. He was hoping to make it to the American camp. Well, unfortunately, he ran right into a Nazi German camp, and they immediately captured him and his fellow soldier and put him in prison. The other soldier was unfortunately killed by the Germans because he wasn't going to survive either way with his leg already in the condition he was in. But my grandfather, he actually survived his stay there because he knew German. He spoke German to the guards, and they traded back and forth with him, either cigarettes and other things. And he died. So my grandfather died in 2002, right before I was born. And he told my mother before he died that the German soldiers over there were just like the Americans. They didn't want to be here as much as we didn't want to be there. It's just they were doing their job. And just back to the story, so my grandfather survived only because he knew German, and the Germans kept him alive just to be, just to say they have, oh, he's an American that speaks German. And eventually he was saved from that camp when the British came through and took over that camp, and he was awarded some medals, but he told the U.S. military that he didn't care about the medals. He just wanted in his words, to get the hell out of there. And so he didn't get any of the medals, and he just went back home to Louisville, and he eventually had my mom in 1967, and later on my uncle would go to the government and went through a enormous amount of red tape to get those medals that were awarded to him. And that's my story.